What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. Sorry we're starting a little bit late. I had a lot going on today. I was able to put out 2 videos today on YouTube, but they were more on the promotional side. But tomorrow is the last day of November, guys. Let's end November with a bang, okay? Last day of November, we got one more month left of 2020. Let's get one more good month of good trading in. Then 2021, we can all start fresh. Everybody. And it's like Nate from Investors Underground, what he said going into 2021. I'm right with him. I think this market is going to continue. There's a lot of money in this market right now, and everybody is making money. Everybody. You guys are going to see so many new people and gurus pop up all over Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, because times are great right now. Money is so easily being made right now. Everybody thinks that they're a professional and they're a guru. So just be cautious, guys, of all these new accounts popping up on YouTube and everybody thinking that they know how to trade. A lot of people are about to be getting humbled here soon. This is what we call a melt up in the stock market. Look at BLNK here. This is the daily chart. This is what we call just a straight melt up. Consistent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight green candles up. And we're getting this little pullback here. We're going to probably continue going up even higher. And let these stocks just explode up. Ride the wave. But don't overstay your welcome. Don't get overly aggressive. Because when this eventually pops, it's going to be bad. It's going to be very bad. And then even on trade ideas, they even just came out with their own EV related stock scanner. So this is how you know we're in a really, really hot sector right now. Even Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies heating up. I don't really get involved too much with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. I just never really been a fan of it. You know, for now, I'll stick with American cash. That's what I trade. American cash is king right now until this takes over. Then all right. But there's just too many scams in Bitcoin, and you can't really trust anybody when it comes to Bitcoin. I can't tell you guys how many times every single day I get spammed and messaged from people about Bitcoin, and all it is a scam. Somebody's out here trying to pump up one of those Bitcoin stocks, and just protect yourself. Don't really believe. If you don't know somebody, don't take their advice. Or don't if it's free, it's too good to be true. But hopefully you guys had a good Thanksgiving last week. Last Friday, we were supposed to do a live stream for the live stream trading. I honestly just didn't feel like it. I really didn't. Thursday was a good turkey day. We got to eat a lot of food. And then the next day in the stock market, Friday, we had a half day. I woke up and I just really wasn't feeling it. And then I guess everybody else wasn't feeling it either because it was like no volume at all on Friday. A lot of like lackluster plays on Friday. You could see here on BLNK, this just had a nice run up all right here. 15 all the way up to almost $40 and then pulled back all the way down to this 24 level. Let me get my marker out here for you guys. BLNK ramps up like this and then gets that big pullback down. And look what it like does right here. It makes like this, just bottoms out right there, clear as day at $24. So a nice bounce from 24 back up to this, just under this $30 level. Look for it to pull back down, possibly to this 26 area, and work its way back up to that $30. And if it can break through 30 bucks, this thing could easily run back up to the highs. It's not far from it. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on BLNK going into next week, as I have a lot of stocks on watch, guys. This market has just been fire. So we got a new one here, QS. QS just had a big move on Friday. Friday, this moved from $24 all the way up to 40 bucks. Just a wicked, wild move. After it topped out way up here, it pulled back down to the VWAP, and then it just pretty much consolidated, grinding up, back up to the highs the rest of the day. So tomorrow, I'll be looking for this to squeeze up over that $40 to all-time new highs. I think I remember Nate saying that QS was the old stock KCAC, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see what the so QS is on the New York Stock Exchange. Doesn't have really any information yet on what the float is or any of that. That's how new it is. RMG, another just really big ramp up from 1050s all the way up to 18 bucks. I just want to look at this real quick. Right here on RMG, what I'm looking at is how it ramped up right here, and then it got this pull back down, and it like leveled out like right here. Right at just above that $16. From 16 runs back up to 18 up here, and then just hangs around at this 18 level going into the close. But I keep forgetting the market closed right here. All of this right here, that's all pre-market. So Friday was a half day. I keep forgetting about that. RAPT. This was a stock that had a really big gap down. And this is what I always talk about, guys. Whenever you have a stock that has a big gap down, always keep an eye on it for that potential rebound and gap fill. Here it is right here on the daily chart. From this day, it gapped down from $30 down to $20, and then sold off all the way down to $15, and then ramped all the way up back up to 23 bucks, and now it's making its way, looking like it's trying to fill this big gap right here. It's a little bit too late to be probably chasing it right now, because it just literally like 1, 2, 3, 5 days it ramped up off of that. I'd look for it to punch up, probably run up to this 200-day moving average at 2450, and then pull back down to like this 2050 area and bounce off of that and then continue. This is going to be working in stages, but I'm not really going to pay close attention to RAPT. It's one of those biotech stocks. CBAT. CBAT has been in play for a long time. Look at the daily real quick. Once again, scroll out from 250 to 420s, all the way up to a high of 1166. And when it pulled back here, you could see that 13 EMA was acting as support. And then Friday, this got a gap up and it did have a little nice shallow pullback. But now if we look at the intraday chart, it makes more sense. Actually, I'll just leave this here. I keep pulling it up. So right here, you could see it just wedged out the whole entire day. So it consolidated before it makes its next move. If CBAT gets above that 850s, 875, look out for it to run up to that $9 and then potentially break that $9 and run up to $10. It's setting itself up pretty well. You're going to have a lot of resistance up here at 875. But nice setup Friday right here. Let's look at the 10-minute. Yeah, that 875 is going to be resistance. $9 is going to be resistance. 950 is going to be resistance. And then that mental $10 is going to be resistance. The high on this is at 1150. It could get there. But I think that this could run up to at least $950, $10. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on CBAT tomorrow. Let me add that to my chart up above just to show you guys. I have a huge like a TV above my head. I have a total of 5 monitors. I have 4 that are level with me, and then I have like a big TV above my head, and I keep all of these charts above my head. So every day I'll look what's gapping up pre-market. I pick out the stocks that I want to look at the most, what have the best setups, what could be setting up, and I'll just add them all to these charts right here. All of these are 1-minute charts. So a total of 9 stocks I can have up above my head. I'll put them on, and then as the market goes, the market opens, I let the first 15, 20 minutes go by. I let stocks set up, do what they got to do, and then I reevaluate what has the best setup that offers more reward versus risk, and I go from there. This is how I trade, and this is how I'm able to quickly call out stocks into the Discord. So if I see something setting up above my head, I can quickly head to the Discord, type it out, send it over to you guys. So CBAT, I'm going to replace that with SOL here. I like CBAT, and I already have BLNK up on my list also. And if you head over to the Trading Learning 101 Discord group, down way below, I have a channel that says my trading setup. I have pictures of how I have my day trading setup. Everything that I use, the desktop I use, the monitors, what internet, my internet speed, all that good stuff. Got BEEM also. Let me see this one. It's up near its highs. You could see Friday it did a big U shape up on it. What is BEEM? Let's see. Looks like it's one of those solar companies. It says here on Street Smart Edge that they got a float of 6 million. So BEEM. Yeah, on street or trade ideas, it says that their float is 5.8 million. Short float is at 15%. It's on the NASDAQ. Manufacturing, computer and electronic product manufacturing, semiconductor, electronic components. So this is the type of stuff that's really been popping off. Yeah, I'd look for this to break over that 36 bucks and then it'll run up to 37. And if it can get above 37, 37.50, and then above that, sky's the limit. This will be hitting all-time new highs. If you scroll out on this, don't worry about all the way back here to 2011. This stock could have done stock splits and so many other things. And this is why I like having a weekly chart up that I can quickly just switch to, and a monthly chart. So I can switch to the monthly chart where every candle is 1 month, and I can quickly look back to see if there's any resistance. And it shows way back in 2011 that 41.50 was resistance. So I'll keep an eye on this just to see what it does. NNOX was pretty sloppy on Friday. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty sloppy right there. Did a fake break to the downside. So it opens up at 48, runs all the way up to 55 bucks, slams down to 52, back up to the high, slams down even lower, pops back up, and then slams all the way down to 50.50, and then pops and closes. NNOX was very hot back like a few months ago. It's not really been hot anymore. Very, very low volume play. You got to be careful with NNOX. If you trade this type of stock, low volume play, you could get caught in a death candle, and those death candles on low volume stocks can be unforgiving. Look at the volume way back here on these days compared to the volume right now. You know, it's not really that much. And I think that what's that? Citron Research. If you don't follow them on Twitter, you got to follow those guys. They put an article out on NNOX, and a lot of people's been staying clear of NNOX because it's like when Citron Research puts an article out on a company, that's usually bad news. Like there's some type of fraud going on in the company. FTSI. FTSI was a hot topic or a hot stock in the Discord chat last week. Let's look at this. Just look at that shot up on it. and it's just been grinding and grinding and grinding up. I see a good day right here. Pretty sloppy though. Good pre-market, failed at the open, popped up, couldn't hold above VWAP, and then squeezed. And then after that squeeze, it's just been hanging around near its highs. I'd keep FTSI on watch though for that. It's just been consolidating for days up near that resistance. This is the type of stock that you could see one moment you blink and it's halted up at $22 because it's just consolidating, consolidating, consolidating up near its highs. Shorts are underwater. They're freaking out. They're waiting for this thing to drop. And then, boom, just explodes up. This market is just absolutely wild right now. Anything, always keep an open mind, guys. FTSI has a float of 13.3 million. The short float, it's not, it says it's only at 2.7%. FTSI is in the mining, oil, and gas biz. See, look how light that volume is, too. EH. I don't know. I'm not really interested in EH. A lot of these stocks on my list here are just stocks they popped up on the scanners and I just quickly added it to my list. HPR. Not interested in HPR either. Look at this ramp way back here. Just ramped up all day from 7 to 50s all the way up to 1450. And then look at that crumble. Just unforgiven. Wow. That's wild. Let me look at this and show you guys. This right here. These 2 days. Ramps from that 750s all the way up to 1450. Crumbles going into the close, and then the next day it opens. Just ramps all the way back up to the high. And then it just like a stop, a big brick wall right at that 1450. Consolidates, traps everybody, and then falls. So going into the future, if HPR ever pops again, look for 1450 to be a big area of resistance. What you can do, and what a lot of people don't do, is make like a little mental note on your chart, especially if you're using a Street Smart Edge. Add a note. Resistance, and just put a little mental note, 1450, big area resistance, and then save it. And then on your chart or your daily chart, it should plot out a little notepad. So if ever you pull up a chart in the future, you could see you have a note on that specific stock. It's just a little trick that you can use to help. I'm trying to see where it is. I might have it off. Oh, there you go. When you hit that thing right here, that little box at the top of the chart, it'll collapse this part right here. And you see that little yellow notepad right there? That's where your note will be. Click that note, and it has it right there for you. All right, SBE. Let's talk about this one. From 16 all the way up to 43 bucks. I mean, these are some wild moves, guys. This is how you know we're in a very hot market right now. You know, normally we don't see moves like this. We don't. So take advantage of this while you can, because when things slow back down, it's not going to be this hot, especially with all these stocks. I mean, look at that on the 10-minute. Just straight up. Ramps up, consolidates. Ramps up, pulls back. Ramps up, consolidates. Pops up, consolidates, ramps up. Consolidates, pulls back, then consolidating possibly all right here. From $18 all the way up to 42 bucks. From November 18th all the way to November 30th. Well, the high was right here at November 23rd. But what is that? 1 week, this stock ran from $18 to $42. That's insane. I think we're going to see a lot of good bounces next week because Friday, it was slow. Not a lot of stocks were making up moves. And then the day before Thanksgiving was pretty dead. So we had Wednesday of red day and Friday of a red day. So going into next week, watch out. We could really see some good bounces, I'm telling you. SBE was, I think I traded SBE a few times last week. Let's zoom in on this. Just all morning. Look at that ramp all the way up and then pulls back down. And then what did we talk about in last week's live stream, guys? How a lot of times the hot stocks, they'll ramp all the way up and then they'll slowly pull all the way back down. And a lot of times they'll bounce right off that VWAP, that orange line. There's another example of it right there. From 23 bucks, this had a nice range on it. 23 up to 24 bucks. Just back and forth. You could have been scalping this off of the VWAP. Right there. Buy here. Sell there. And then when it comes back down, buy again. Sell. And then it starts breaking up at that top resistance going into the close. Fast forward to the next day. And this is how I learned, guys. I would go back on the weekend. I would go back through the week and look at all the top stocks that performed. And I would start on the day it first started performing. So let's say Wednesday, this stock popped up and started going. Then I would see how it performed Thursday. How did it perform on the third day? And then so on. I would take mental notes. What's the float? What's the volume? What was the catalyst? If there was a catalyst, and so on. So you can see on SBE, it looks pretty choppy right there. But if you look at the big picture of it, what this formed was a wedge right there. It formed a wedge, and it's a pretty big wide range wedge from 25.50 up to 27. That's a $1.50 range in a wedge. And it finally broke up, pulled back and held, consolidated, and then pushed up all the way up to 28 bucks. So from the bottom down here at 26 up to 28, this stock moved up 2 bucks. All stocks have their own personality and move in their own way, guys. SBE was a good mover last week. So if you were only paying attention to right here, and this is why I don't really trade the first 15-20 minutes of the market open, because everything's so sporadic and fast, and you could really see some big crazy moves. Like, look at that breakdown from 27. It dips down to 25.50. Just drops down $1.50. That would have hurt a lot of people. Came back up, resistance of where it fell from, dropped back down, grinded back up, and then pulled back. And then that area held as support right here. Little consolidation, and then ramp up off that VWAP. I would call the next day on SBE after this move here, all it was doing was consolidating on the next day here. So it was consolidating on the next day with good range. The next day, look at it, gaps up to 32 bucks after that consolidation day. Gaps up, gets a morning spike all the way up to 34 bucks, and then pulls back. And what's it do again? After that pullback, it makes higher lows, making that wedge, ascending wedge right there at 32 bucks. And then towards the end of the day, this ramps all the way up to $36. Now, if you zoom out on this, it does start to make sense when you zoom in and zoom out on it. When you zoom in on one specific day and then you zoom out to see the big picture. Let me make this bigger. And what I'm trying to say here, this ramp up, falls down, consolidates. The next day it gaps up. And then what this is a consolidation day. That's all that is. The next day it gaps up, gets a quick morning pop, forms that wedge for the continuation higher. Then now it's starting to see the back side of that move, making higher lows all right here, but it bottomed out right here at that level where it wedged out way over here. Now it's looking for a nice little bounce, possibly back up to this 40 bucks. I don't know. I'm going to keep SBE on watch because this stock likes to move. And then look at on the daily chart. Every single day this stock moved, it did it on increased volume. All right here. The volume in the stock market is king, guys. Volume is king. All I'm paying attention to as a trader is volume and price action. I'm not using any really indicators besides moving averages. That's about it. Keeping it simple. If you start, I'm not going to bash on indicators, but the way I look at them is their distractions. You know, you can use indicators as a tool to help you see the big picture, but with me, I can just see it clearly on the chart. I can see the emotions, the supply and demand. I can look at multiple time frames and break it down per time frame. I can start at the daily, then work my way down to a 65-minute chart, work my way down to a 10-minute chart, and slowly break it down piece by piece. If I have other indicators up, like RSI, MACD, and I'm using Ichimoku clouds or whatever, you know, I just look at it as a distraction. That's the way I look at it. You're overlooking the big picture. There's already enough distractions in the market. And this is why Thinkorswim has over like 2,000 indicators, because they're a cash cow. GRWG. I'm going to delete this off my list. What this is, look at that. That's the daily chart. This is just slowly grinding up every single day, little by little. So eventually, when this does crack, it's going to be a massacre. It really is. And it's pushing up all on light volume, all right here. Not really too much volume, so this keeps pushing up. Eventually, when this starts falling down, everybody's going to start selling. Panic's going to start coming in. And then you're just going to see this thing drop like a rock. It's up to $36. Once that selling starts to come in, this thing could easily drop back down to 20 bucks. So there's going to be a lot of stocks that are just up, just in sympathy of all the other stocks being up. WYY, I think that this was just a pump and dump. Nothing going on with that. Pola, nothing's really going on with that. Yala, I could delete that off my list. BKYI. See, the BKYI had a lot of potential. It really did. But it just never had that follow through on it. It had a reverse split right here. That trading day, it did nothing. But that this day right here, it gapped up. It was ready. It was ready to roll. Everybody had this on watch, but it just started crumbling from 440 all the way down to 330s. And then you could just see it flatlined. All right there. I mean, don't get me wrong. This very well could pop. And it could pop up to maybe $4. But there's just better opportunity out there, I think. So I'm going to take BKYI off my list. I'm not really interested in that. APVO just fell apart and died, pretty much. This is that stock. Look at this thing. From 650 all the way up to 60 bucks right here. Look at all that about that volume attack it. And then people just lost interest in it. And the volume faded out. But it's still hanging around that high, which is odd. I'm just going to keep it on my list just to see what happens. Because normally you have your upside move. And then you'll get this crack. And then it will fail to reclaim that high. And then it will just continue to fade off and just slowly fade off. You know, maybe I'll have a couple bounce here and there, but it'll just slowly fade off as we move on. But in this case, It's just sticking around, which well, I like to call it's lingering around. So I'm gonna keep this on watch to see what happens. From 44 bucks, this could easily surge back up to 50 bucks. But look at that volume. There's really nothing going on. So you got to be careful with this. SUNW. It could have a good pop back up to maybe 7 bucks on it. I wouldn't, I mean, SUNW has been hot for a while. We got our good move right here to the upside, all the way up. Now it's starting to fall, gets its bounce, starting to fail and fade off. But what I will point out on this, it ramped up, but now it's leveling out at that 550s. So if 550 can hold, and this can break back over $6, 6.25, this could easily run back up to 7 bucks. 7, 750, maybe even 8 bucks. Who knows? But just keep it on watch, see what happens. If it falls below that 550, it's over. This is going to go back down to 450, $4, and just continue to fade off. I had Snapchat up one day. They did something I can't remember. NIO has just been a beast. Plug was hot for like a quick moment. I really wouldn't pay too much close attention to Plug now. And then everybody was trading and watching XPEV. This could have a nice run back up to 70 bucks. I mean, just look at that ramp. From $20, guys, all the way up to $74. From literally the beginning of November right here, all the way to the end of November, 1 month, from $20 to $70. One big move. That's insane. XPEV needs to hold that $60. I'm gonna say. Let me see. So right now 62 is holding as support. You can connect like somewhat the lower highs on it. Me personally, I would say I would like to see XPEV cross over and get above 65. And then if 65 can hold as support, then maybe I'll look to trade it. I'm not a swing trader or anything, so I'd maybe a good day trade on it potentially back up to the $70. It's got good range. We'll see what happens with it. And then this was KCAC, but remember they switched their QS now. Ticker symbol QS. MRNS. I can delete that. I'll delete Plug, Snapchat, Pola, NETE. This was hot a couple weeks ago. It could continue. I mean, NETE's been around for a while. Oh, and then JMIA, guys. This bad boy was hot. I mean, look at that. These 2 days right here, I want to talk about, guys. All right, let me zoom in on these 2 days right here. Look at that, just beautiful bottom right there. Right there. This right there. And looking at that general area, it was at like 2850. This was doing that at. Going into the next day, it was bouncing, shimmying off that bottom. And then all you had to simply do was either draw a trend line, or I have this 55 EMA, that blue line. It just rode that EMA all day from 2850. This ran all the way up to 3850. $10 right here. That's awesome. And the previous day set it up. Paying attention to the details, guys. Looking at the big picture. Right here. It was clearly showing you that it was trying to bottom all right here. And then going into the next day, if you kept that area it was bottoming out at as a big picture idea, and it was hanging around right there at the area, it was all bottoming out right there. From there, blast off to the moon. JMIA, that was a beautiful play last week. This has just been having some sick runs. I mean, even look at here. Just exploding right here from 27.75 all the way up to 30 bucks. And yet, I have a lot of people that like to pay attention to micro penny stocks that move 0.001 cent to 0.003 cents. Like, don't waste your time, guys, on those penny stocks. They're garbage. A lot of them lead to randomness. You know, they're unpredictable because so many noobs just trade them and don't know what they're doing. There's so much more opportunity with these larger priced stocks. Stocks above, I would say, $3. Focus on those from $3 to $100. I'm telling you guys, and you don't need many shares to make a good profit. You know, if you got a stock that's moving $2, $3 at a time, you could buy a couple hundred shares and make a pretty good coin on that. For an example, right here on JMIA, from 27.50 up to 30.50, that's a $3 move right there. You know, even if you had 200 shares of that, that's 600 bucks right there. And then that's when you get involved with trading options too. And that's where I've been trading for 5 years now, and I'm just now getting involved with options because I got comfortable with reading charts, seeing how stocks like to move. And then once I found consistency with day trading, now I can move off to something else for another vehicle to make money. You see how you do that, guys? You don't just jump into this and say, I want to day trade, I want to trade options, I want to trade futures, I want to trade cryptocurrency, I want to trade forex, and I want to trade binary options or something. I don't know. Got to take it one thing at a time. I had a dude in my Discord. It was like every week he was jumping to something else. One day he was day trading penny stocks. The next week he was swinging large cap stocks. Then the next week he was shorting stocks. Then the next week he was getting involved with options. And then after that he was getting involved with futures. Well, long story short, he's not around anymore because he pretty much burnt himself. He tried putting his hands in all these different areas and just got destroyed. So master one thing, guys, and then once you consistently prove to yourself that you can make money and you have that locked, then you can move on to other things. So that's what I'm doing now with options. And the powerful thing with options, now you can look at stocks like Tesla. That's $600. Apple. We could see Apple's at $120. The cool thing with options, you don't have to put up much capital to trade these stocks. So for every contract, it's a bundle of 100 shares. One contract of Apple, if you buy a put, let's say, I'm just giving out examples here. Let's say it's got a man, I wish I had a Thinkorswim open just to give you guys a good example to see what the strike price was and what the ask was. Let's say the ask is 30 cents. 100 times 30 is 30 bucks. So you'd put up 30 bucks to buy 100 shares of that option. At the strike price, it is a bit confusing, but the more you stick with it, guys, the more it starts to make sense. Like it took me forever to really understand the basic concepts of options. All right, AYRO. AYRO is a bit interesting. They just recently did a mixed shelf of up to 100 million. And they also did a $10 million registered direct offering. And I'm looking at all of that right here. So right there on the 23rd, they did a 10 million registered direct offering priced at the market. And then on the 27th, they did a mixed shelf for up to 100 million. And then let me show you guys something pretty cool. Let me just bring it up. I got to sign in real quick. This website right here, Flash SEC, is a money saver. Every single day I get up and I look at what's gapping up pre-market. I can quickly look up the company on Flash SEC, and you could see right here it's working and loading. It's processing your search. It's so far it's 50% completed. What it's doing, is it's scanning through all this company's SEC filings and it's pulling all the information for me to view. So as soon as this loads, I'll show you guys real quickly how you can save your butt from day trading, these stocks that have at the market offerings or shelves or whatever. This website is really really cool. But it's not free though. It costs money to have this. So until you can prove to yourself that you can consistently pull money out of the stock market, don't go off getting tools like this. This is the type of stuff that you get once you start bringing in money, because if you can't consistently pull in money right now, you're just wasting your money buying all these tools. It normally doesn't take this long to load up. But I'll move this over for now until oh, there it goes. So you can see right here, it's got all the statistics on AYRO, the market cap, the float, the held by institutions, the shares outstanding, institutional ownership, their financial information, how much cash they have, their burn rate, operating expense, estimated months left of cash, 36, their current assets, liabilities, working capital, total assets, total liabilities, total revenue. They don't have any money. And look at conversion price. All of these S3s, 424 B5s, here at a specific price. How many shares? Liquidity and capital resource. Active shelf registrations. The whole time while this thing was loading up, it was getting all of this information from the SEC files. So it tells you the date of expiration, the type, secondary, dilution, the float, shares offered, 276,000. How many are remaining? 0. Another offering type, a resale, completed, 276,000 shares. A secondary offering. We got another outstanding shares and float dilution here. And look at this one. This one was 6.2 million worth. They still have 6.2 million left. Shares offered remaining now 4 million, or 4 million. But look at all these public offering, registered direct offering, all these offerings here on this company. And you could just go on and on and on and on. Self-registration pending effect, active registration. So you see how cool this website is and how this website could save you money. So if there was a stock gapping up pre-market and you look it up on Flash SEC here and you see all of this, you're like, wow, this company is desperate for money. I better not, if I do trade this stock, I better not be in it for long, and I better not be in big. And that's what I was saying that day DPW ran. If you pull up DPW's financial history, oh my goodness, it's a laundry list. DPW has been known the past few years of diluting their stock. I mean, look at the history on this. Every time that pops up recently, just big red candles. Because they just dilute their stock. They know what they're doing. But DPW had a really good run last week, guys. Right here. From $2 all the way up to almost 11 or 10 bucks. This thing's probably going to be going for a moment. My guess on DPW, they ain't going to have another bounce. It's just going to keep falling, probably. See, and they even did when it ran up. Where is it at? Right there on the 27th. They did a 5.1 million common shares selling stockholders. They filed for a shelf of up to 5.1 million. And if you've been around in the markets for a few years, you know DPW every single time. Every time, guys, this stock would pop up, they would always do an offering. Always. This is where it pays to get that screen time under your belt. You see these stocks pop up and you get familiar with them. You get familiar on how they trade, what the company likes to do. Like KZIA. If you've been around, you know the CEO of the company loves getting on Twitter and pumping this company. A lot of people will say he can't do that. Yeah, but yeah, he can. He doesn't really, he's not insider trading. He's doing what a CEO does. He's proud of his company. He wants people to hear about his company and promote it. So there's nothing wrong with that. So you know, if you've been around, KZIA CEO gets on Twitter, talks about the company. The next day, the stock gaps up. But here's the laundry list on DPW. You guys ready? Watch this. Conversion price, warrants exercised, all of those. Active shelf registration, all of these. All of these, guys. Look at that. All of this stuff. Shelf registration pending. I mean, look at change in share structure. You see how over the course of the year, it's going up. They're diluting their stock. If their outstanding shares is going up like that, they're diluting the stock. They're putting more shares into the market. That's what they're doing. I've never seen this thing right here before on Flash SEC. That's pretty cool. But look at all that right here. That's a lot. That's a huge laundry list. And DPW, I did trade it, but I didn't trade DPW till the end of the day. What day did that go off? On the 23rd. The 23rd was a Monday. So if I go back on this to Monday, I traded it right here. At the very end of the day, 6,000 shares I bought, I made $2,000 on it. So I waited for DPW to prove to me. And then once it consolidated all of lunch hours and then picked its direction at the end of the day, I wrote it. I wrote it up. And then the next day, or a few days later, they do an offering. I mean, I got so many stocks on my list here, it's unreal. Let's see what stocks are you guys looking at? I'll take stocks from you guys now. Let's see what you guys are looking at. If your stock is under $2, please don't even mention it. I'm really not interested in garbage penny stocks. No offense to you or anything, but I just don't want to waste my time on stocks under $2. I have no interest in those types of stocks. FUV looks like it's got a nice little bottom forming here at 1350. From 1350 up to 15. If it can break over 15, this can run back up to maybe 1650. If you guys got a stock you want me to look at, just comment the stock and we'll go over the stock if you want me to. ZKIN, garbage. ZKIN right here had that possibility of getting squeezed. It just couldn't do it. All right here at $3, it couldn't break over. It failed right there, and right there. Then fell down and then really couldn't even get above this 250. Failed at 250, failed at 250, failed at 250, and then crumbled. ZKIN, I remember it. It was a big disappointment. PEC, nothing going on with that. LI was a big mover last week. It failed right here. See how it wedged out right there? If you zoom in on that. It formed this wedge right there. But it just failed. It failed to spike the next day. And it just slowly crumbled. So we got MDRNA. That sounds like a OTC stock. MDRNA. I've never heard of this one. I don't know of no MDRNA. Maybe you're referring to mRNA? Wow. mRNA's up there. That stacks up a lot. Gee. $130 a share, hitting all-time new highs. I mean, this stock's just melting up. This is probably going to have one more big pop in it. Easily, I could see 150. Easy. Because it looked like it tried to crack right here on the 10-minute. That long wick. There's a buyer there. Came right back up. Consolidation. Now it's looking like it's about to ramp up. I just wouldn't want to be holding the bag on mRNA when the party's over with. I'll say that. You guys been really hooked on NNDM. A lot. I've noticed in the Discord, You guys been mentioning this stock every single day. Especially Dub. Dub's been trading this a lot. I haven't really been paying any attention on NNDM. I mean, I just think it's random. Very random. I mean, look at you get a very strong day right here, and then it gaps down really, really big. They probably did an offering, and then it grinds all the way back up to where they did the offering at, pulls back, pushes back up to 575, and then from 570s ramps all the way up to 750s. I'd be looking to see if they'd have any more offerings or anything. Man, I don't know about this one. Let me see something. They just put out this SC13G on the 25th. I'm not too familiar with NNDM. I know Dub's been trading this stock a lot, but if I was to say something on this, I mean, it very well could pull back down to this 575s area, and I'd look for that to hold. But for now, this 650s is resistance on it. If it can get above that, it could easily run back up to 7 and then maybe test the high up at 750. It just might be something to, watch. But me personally, I have no interest in this stock. From here on out, it could do really anything. It could continue going or it could fail and start going down. The float on it's 45 million. It's proving that it's been strong after doing a 100 million registered direct offering. A lot of times that kills the stock. But look at how many red candles you got here compared to red candles. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight green candles, and then one red, and then now 2 straight green candles. Just be cautious because when it comes time to sell, everybody who bought on all those red candle or green candles, they're all going to be dumping. So Robert says you got 250 shares short on NNDM. I would just be cautious. That's all I will say. Because we're in a market right now, everything's melting up. Everything is just exploding to the upside. And sometimes you got to take a look back, take a moment and step back and look at the conditions of the overall market. Everything is exploding up, and everybody has that same mindset. It's up way too much right now. When it's up way too much. It's up way too much. It has to come down. It's up way too much. I mean, look at JMIA. Look at that ramp on the daily chart. BLNK. Look at that ramp. And that's all shorts getting squeezed. Anything can happen in the stock market. Anything. Always keep an open mind and always tell yourself anything can happen. Never fight the trend. I would be cautious on that NDM. What was that one? I doubt I'm gonna be able to remember it. It was like CTIX. It was a really big short squeeze. I know that. I'm not gonna be able to remember it, but a while back we had a guy in chat and he shorted a stock because he thought it was up too much, and it kept going and it kept going and he never sold it. He covered all of his margin calls. He kept holding it. He kept telling himself, it's up too much. It has to come down. It's up too much. Well, long story short, he's not here no more. Because he probably blew up his account because he got stubborn being short a stock and it kept squeezing him. And he wouldn't accept the reality of he was wrong. And for it wasn't SRNE. It wasn't SRNE. I can't remember the name of the stock. It started with the C. I remember that. I thought it was like CTNX or something, but it's just not ringing a bell. I know if somebody mentions it, I'll probably remember it. But he got squeezed really, really good. And never heard from him again. He was in chat every single day for like a year straight. And then this is the same person who dabbled his hands in everything. One moment he was in trading penny stocks. One moment he was trading options. One moment he was trading large cap stocks. He would never just focus on one specific thing. And he fell in love with shorting stocks. And then he got overconfident. And then he destroyed himself, to be honest. I've seen it. I've seen so many people come and go in this game, guys. I've had this Discord open to the public now for 3 years. I've been trading for 5 years. I cannot tell you how many people I've seen come and go in this game, guys. For real. I've had people tell me they love this. They could see themselves doing this for the rest of their lives. And then they quit. Man, I really wish I remembered the name of that stock, guys. Because I'd be able to pinpoint it right on the daily chart. Because I remember it. I remember it. He got burnt so bad. So bad. But NNDM, I'm really not sure on what will happen with that one. I really wish I could give you a more better answer. But to me, the stock looks very strong. It keeps pulling back and going. I mean, it's staying above that 13 EMA. And just look at everything that's been popping up. I mean, everything just keeps going and going and going and going. Everything. What does NNDM even do? They're in the 3D printing technology, so it's not even really a hot sector or anything. I'll keep it on my list just to see what happens, but everybody's been trading it in the Discord and talking about it, so I'm sure I'll hear a lot of it going into next week. You Dig Me says, "Hello, Trading Learning 101 chat. Hello." Is there any more stocks that you guys want me to look at? Corona says, "I bought ACB a few weeks ago. It dropped as soon as I bought it. I'm almost even as it should. I sell. I bought in at 11." ACB. It's a marijuana stock, I think. Aurora Cannabis, I think. Yeah. Okay. Actually, this is looking pretty good. ACB. It's looking like it's squeezing. You see how that 13 EMA's crossing up over that green line? That's the 100-day moving average. And it's pushing right up through that red line. That's the 200-day moving average. So it's pushing up above that and it closed above that line. That's looking pretty good. Oh, wow. Look at that explosion at the end of the day. Something really big had to have happened in pot stock land. Um, wow. Man, you bought in at 11. See, this is how, and I'm not personally dogging on you or calling you out, but look at this now. And this is for everybody. You said you bought in way back at 11. Now, this is how bag holders are formed, guys. And this is how we run into these support and resistance areas. So, somebody, when the stock was active, way over here, and the stock falls down and comes all the way back up, you have to think, if you're looking to trade this and you're looking to trade it at the break of highs or high of day or the break of resistance, you have to think of everybody who got stuck back holding and buying this stock. They've been holding it all month and now they're just about to break even. They're sick and tired of holding on to this stock for a month. They're ready to wash their hands with it. And this is where you guys buy into walls. This is human nature. It happens over and over and over and over again in the stock market. So you're going to have resistance up here at 11 because everybody who all bought all up in here, all here, all here, 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 and then everybody who all bought down here accumulating. They've been accumulating and holding it for days, weeks, and finally when the stock pops, they're all going to look to sell it for a profit. Some are looking to sell it to break even. Some just want to wash their hands up with it because they're tired of having their capital tied up for so long. It's just, you're just going to have to see what the pot stocks do Monday morning, see where they're at, because that's a really big move at the end of the day right there. You know, the pot stocks, they could either open up and gap up higher tomorrow, or they could open up and gap down tomorrow. They could sell off tomorrow. Anything could happen. You're just going to have to see how they set up. And that's going with all of them. Cron, CRON. What's the other one? IGCC? Or IGGC? Yeah, IGC. You see how IGC is the same as ACB? It's because they're in the same sector. That's why it's important to notice if you're looking to trade a stock, what sector they're in. 3 out of 4 stocks follow the overall market. We'll just see. We'll see what happens with the pot stocks tomorrow. I'm not gonna go off and draw support and resistance lines because Cron could be at 850 right now, and tomorrow when I wake up, the stock's up at $12. And I'm drawing support and resistance lines at $8 and $9 and the stock gaps up $2. You know, I just wasted my time. So we'll see where they're all at tomorrow. I mean, honestly, my career, I've been doing this for 5 years, guys. What I've noticed with pot stocks, don't get your hopes up on pot stocks. What they love to do is they love to pop and then they slowly fade off. That's what they like to do. There's so many people that trade pot stocks and so many people that just swing these. Like they'll just accumulate and buy them, and then as soon as the stock pops, everybody and their mother sells. And then that's what leads to the slow fade offs. So think of pot stocks as like a doobie or a joint, you know, the slow burn. You light it up, they pop, and then they just fizzle out. I mean, look what happened. History repeats itself. Look it. Pops up, fails. It did have a good push all right here. Then faded out, ramped up, failed. Popped up, failed. Let me look at the daily. I'm not really seeing it, guys. Look at the daily. Gaps up, big red day. Gaps up, big red day. It popped right there and even gapped up the next day, but slowly faded off. Popped up, no continuation, and faded off. Popped up, faded off. Popped up, faded off. I'm just going off of what the chart tells me, and that's what you want to do. You always want to refer to the chart. Take notice of what the chart's telling you. I'm not much of a fan of pot stocks. I really don't trade pot stocks that much. All right, someone said, Joe D said MRIN. Man, we're having a late night tonight, guys. It's already 11 p.m. here Eastern time. So MRIN. This is in the digital marketing sector. I don't see much going on with MRIN. I mean, if it could have a good rise on it, but it's a very low volume type of play. And the top I could see it potentially reaching is 250, maybe $3 if you're lucky. I mean, there's no volume on it on the 1 minute. If you go to the 10 minute, it looks like it's just trying off of this 215 to start to ramp up, but it's like I said, it doesn't have much room to go. It's gonna pop from 225. It's gonna pop up to 240, which is like what, 15 cents up, and it's gonna find resistance at 240. And then it's gonna find resistance at 250 because that's a mental level. And then it's got room to run up to what? Maybe 270? It's not worth it. To me, it's not. A stock like this, it's moving pennies at a time. You really need to load up to make a good profit. Nah, MRIN is garbage. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. It's a well-known pump and dump. I mean, look at the daily. See all those upper wicks? It's got a history of not holding its gains. All right here. Tops $3 if you're lucky. That's what I see. Alrighty, so FCEL. I'll talk about this one real quickly. It's wedging out right just below that $10, guys. I'd keep this on watch for something crazy. FCEL has been hot for a few weeks. I gotta bring back up my chart. You could see it wedged out here Friday. I'd really be looking for this to break over that $10 and go wild. So I'm gonna keep FCEL on watch, BLNK, CBAT. What's this ORMP? Oh, it's a pharmaceutical. This had a good run up Friday from 340s up to over 5. It did good on its phase 3 trial of oral insulin. Well, that's pretty good. Stay away from swing trading pharmaceutical stocks. Those are just complete gambles. And then we'll see what pops up on Monday on the scanners. Just to show you guys real quickly. That's my watch list going into next week. There's a lot of stocks. I don't think YJ will probably fade off. Yeah, there's some of them I just didn't delete. So I gotta delete some of these. ANPC, that was a disappointment. ANPC, I'll talk about this one with you guys. So Thursday or Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, I was looking for that home run on ANPC. I lost $5,000 on ANPC, but I'm perfectly fine with that. I was looking to make at least $10,000 on this stock. I thought it was setting up for a squeeze. It just never happened. And that was this day right here. Just a garbage stock. You could see it gapped up, hit a high of 914. And then the market opened and this faded off down to the $6 area, pops back up, and then does a long consolidation all right here. This was my game plan on ANPC. This long consolidation here, I thought it was going to break up and above that $8. This surge up to 9 and then surge up to $10, that mental level. ANPC had all the right ingredients for a squeeze. A lot of times this happens on this stock. What's the float on ANPC? The float is only 2.5 million. So this stock can move. So I was anticipating this stock from $7 to squeeze up $3. But it didn't. From $7, it faded down to $6.50, came all the way back up, held, and then pushed all the way back up to $8, came back down, and then consolidated all right here, pushed back up to $8, failed, and then closed. Like, it closed like in uncertainty. It didn't know what it wanted to do. Like, I'm thinking, okay, this broke to the downside, but it came back, reclaimed, and pushed back up, and then held. I mean, it's given hints that it doesn't want to go lower, but it just got denied at that $8. It got denied right here, right here, right here, and right here. 4 times it got denied. And if you even go back to the pre-market, it got denied right there and right there. So 6 times this got denied at $8. So you guys can see the thinking process that I was thinking with this stock. Majority of the time, this stock does squeeze, or the play squeezes. But in this instance, it didn't. And it just goes to show you, ideas and plans don't work all the time. And if I zoom out on this, look what the stock did. It slowly but surely faded off back down to $6. I mean, don't get me wrong, this stock very well could just out of nowhere just squeeze and shoot up over 8 and be at $10. I have the right idea. Maybe my timing is off. But this very well could, continue to fade all the way back down too. And then when you look at the daily chart on ANPC, that day here, when it came down, it was holding that 200-day moving average, that red line, as support at 630s. So I was really looking for a big pop on ANPC. It just couldn't get up and above that $8. So that's what happened with me on ANPC. I was going for that home run on this and it just didn't work out. And it was the day before Thanksgiving. So I thought that this was going to be, you know, the turkey bowl, the turkey home run play, but it just didn't happen. But I think that's about going to wrap it up for today, guys. Thanks for joining me on the live stream. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, join the Trading Learning 101 community. And if you're interested, join the Trading Learning 101 Discord. I'm in here every single day giving you guys stocks that I'm looking at, what I'm trading, and I post my P&L in here daily for you guys to show you guys, I consistently pull money out of the markets every day. Always sharing great informational, educational stuff in this channel and Discord. For the most part, it's free. Take advantage of it. But alright, guys, I'll see you guys all Money Monday. As I always say, have that patience, have that discipline, and study, study, study. Later, everybody.